بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا وعظيمنا وحبيب قلوبنا وشفيع نفوسنا أبي القاسم محمد. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى أهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين وأصحابه الغر الميامين. الحمد لله الذي جعلنا من المتمسكين بولاية سيدي ومولاي علي بن أبي طالب. الحمد لله الذي هدانا لهذا وما كنا لنهتدي لولا أن هدانا الله. أما بعد، يقول الله في كتابه الكريم: بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. وأوحينا إلى أم موسى أن أرضعيه فإذا خفت عليه فألقيه في اليم ولا تخافي ولا تحزني إنا رادوه إليك وجاعلوه من المرسلين. The first of our salawat in honor of Rasulullah Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam. The second in honor of Amir al-Mu'mineen Ali ibn Abi Talib. The third with your loudest voices in honor of the Imam of our time, Imam Sahib al-Asr wal-Zaman. Respected scholars, brothers and sisters, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah wa barakatuh. Arguably, one of the most controversial discussions in Islamic history concerns the circumstances surrounding the birth of the Imam, Imam Sahib al-Asr wal-Zaman, salawatullah wa salamu alayhi. Every year millions gather on the 15th of Sha'ban to celebrate the birth of the Imam. And indeed you find that there are many questions which are posed in relation to the birth of the Imam, because we know the majority of the Muslims do not believe in the birth of the Imam. While we may celebrate the birth of the Imam on the 15th of Sha'ban, the majority of the Muslim world does not acknowledge that the Mahdi was born on the 15th of Sha'ban, and that they do not acknowledge that Imam al-Askari alayhi salam had left a son behind. Yes, they revere Imam al-Askari, they revere Imam al-Hadi, they revere them generally, but they say that Imam al-Askari alayhi salam, for example, died without leaving a son behind. And therefore you find that when it comes to the birth of the 12th Imam, there are many question marks surrounding the birth. It's not as clear-cut as it seems. As in, there have been many papers for and against, books for and against, opinions for and against the birth of the 12th Imam. The reason is because you're going to look at a number of key issues that emerge in your research surrounding the birth of the Imam. On the first level, there are conflicting reports in the sources about the year of his birth. For example, you have conflicting reports. You find that when you get the sources, there are differing reports even within the sources. You find, for example, Tusi may say something in his Kitab al-Ghaiba. Saduq may say something in Kamal al-Din. Kulayni may say something within Al-Kafi. Then you bring in others who are writing at that time, Ibn Rustam al-Tabari, Qummi, and Nawbakhti, amongst others such as Nu'mani, all of them writing about the birth of this Imam. Many imagine, therefore, that the birth of the Imam is clear. It's not that clear at all. If Kulayni says something about the birth of the Imam, who is his mother? And if Tusi says his mother is someone else, how do we reach a conclusion then? As in, if Tusi says his mother is a Roman princess, yes? And if Kulayni says his mother is from Sudan, then how do we reach a conclusion who his mother is? Then coming on to the issue of the birth of the Imam and the mother, you already have another issue. What's the mother's name? Is it Narjis? Is it Sawsan? Is it Rayhana? Is it Saqil? Is it Maryam? Within the traditions, she has many different names. Some call her Rayhana. And these are Shia books, not books outside. Yes, these are within our own books. Some call her Rayhana, others call her Sosan, others call her Narjis, others call her Maryam. And therefore someone turns around and says, hold on, if it's one Imam, why are there so many names? Because the clear-cut story for most is that they come on the 15th of Sha'ban, and they hear that the Imam's mother is Narjis, and that she had been in a dream, and they got married in the dream. And then they were on a ship, she reached an area, Bishr came, he purchased her. Imam al-Hadi made her marry Imam al-Askari, and from there you had the 12th Imam, and after the 12th Imam, he went into Ghaiba. I wish things were that easy, yes? Things are not that clear-cut, yes? There are many, many, many different questions that surround this whole area. So the first issue you have is the sources. Second issue you have many different names for one person. Third issue you have, let's say the Abbasids were looking for the Imam, yes? The Abbasids were looking for the Imam. They were seeing if there's the signs of pregnancy. Many outside the school of Ahlul Bayt say, how could you tell us that the lady who's the mother of the Imam, until the night of the birth of the Imam, didn't know she's pregnant? They say these are all things you've made up. A lady has to know when she's pregnant, yes? You can't tell me up until the night of the 15th of Sha'ban, she is uncertain about her pregnancy, yes? That's another issue that comes up. Let me give you another issue. When she gives birth, okay, no problem. Allah hides her pregnancy and then she gives birth. So she gives birth, and then when she gives birth, the Imam is meant to have gone into Ghaiba at the age of 5. Are you telling me for 5 years the Abbasids can't see him? You're telling me there's not enough soldiers to see a 6-month-old, a 1-year-old, 1.5, 2-year-old, 3-year-old, 4-year-old. You tell me Ghaiba al-Saghira began when? When he was 5, yes? And Ghaiba al-Kubra, let's say when? Let's say when he is 70, for example, just to give the numbers. So now you're telling me in the first 5 years, none of these soldiers could see that there's a baby? Are you telling me that this baby becomes 1 year old, 2 years old, 3 years old, 4 years old? Surely one soldier saw, look, there's a 4-year-old walking around we've never seen before. How could he have not been seen when we don't say his Ghaiba began as soon as he was born? Yes? His Ghaiba began when he was 5. So what happened in the first 5 years? In other words, the issue of the birth of the Imam has many questions. And that's why normally you have 3 camps who emerge when it comes to the issue of the birth of the Imam. The camp that ridicule us, the camp that deny us, and the camp that believes in the birth of the Imam. The camp that ridicules us, what do they say? These Shia believe there's this Imam in a cave in Samarra somewhere, and that he's been hiding in this cave all these years. Yes, they make fun. They say that, you know what, you guys actually believe that no Abbasid soldier from the Khulafa of Bani Abbas, you're telling me that Al-Mu'tamid, Al-Muhtadi, none of these had soldiers who could see him, and then his father puts him in a cave somewhere and all of you go and do ziyarah of that cave every year? Why doesn't he come out of that cave? So you have one group who makes fun there. The second who deny, they say, listen, there is no evidence in the books of the birth of this man. And we agree in the sense of the fact that Imam al-Askari, we had already said in yesterday's lecture, up until that time, Imamat, there was a secret Wukala underground organization. Yes? Imam al-Askari definitely did not make a public announcement in front of 1,000 people that he has a son. Yes? There is no chance. That's a death wish. We have hadiths where Imam al-Askari says, do not call him by his name, nor mention where he lives. In other words, no one was even allowed to call him Muhammad. Yes? You want to call him, you may say Baqiyatullah, for example. You may say Al-Qa'im, for example. You may say Al-Hujjah. But you would say, never call him by his name. Now, if Imam al-Askari hasn't told everybody who his successor is, we can't then blame those who formulated many sects. Because you know how many Shia sects divided because of this issue? You had those who believed in Ja'far, yes, the brother of Imam al-Askari, as the successor. Those who believed in Muhammad, son of Imam al-Hadi. Those who believed Imam al-Askari died and went into Ghaiba. Those who believe there's no Imam after Imam al-Askari. I found in my own research up to 18 sects. 18 sects of Shia that emerged because of this one issue. Yes? Now, many of them may not be around today. Actually, 99% of them are not around today. Yes? But still, that period was known as the Hira. You were confused. Yes? There's a sense of confusion. In the beginning of the 90s, last century, in the 1990s and beginning of the 2000s, there was a group of Shia who emerged with the same issue. Shia, Ithna Asharis by birth, who now deny the birth of the 12th Imam. Yes? From the Iraqi community, as an example. From other communities. I mean, people who were born in staunch Ithna Ashari Shia families, a few handful of them, said, you know what, when we've researched these sources, when we looked at Al-Kafi, we looked at the work of Al-Ghaiba of Tusi, we looked at Qummi, Nawbakhti, Mas'udi, we looked at Khulaini's Al-Kafi, we looked at these other works at that time, we found conflicting reports. Yes? Now, how do we reconcile these conflicting reports? Yes? Because another issue that emerges is what is known as hagiography or hagiography. When when you put a bit of masala on a narration, yes? You already have a narration, then you add a bit of masala to make it sound nicer, yes? That's a major problem when you're looking at history. Because if someone now has a narration about the Mahdi, his mother, what do you prefer his mom to be? A Roman princess or a Sudanese slave? What do you prefer? Because there's a great chance that the Imam is of a darker complexion. That there's no doubt about. A very good chance he's of a darker complexion. Now, if you say that to people at that time, as racist as the Arabs were, let alone today how racist they are, many don't want that. Many want a Roman Byzantine princess who converts to the religion of Islam. Yes? So you have another problem here, that I have to look at hagiography as well as historiography. I have to look at which of the history is mythical, sacred history, and which of it is politically stroke, racially stroke, ethnically affected. Yes? The way, the lens you wear when you look at history. I've even met followers of Ahl al-Bayt. When I asked them, what do you think the Imams would look like? And they mentioned to you, oh, he must be fair and his beard must be beautiful and there's no way he's of a darker complexion. And if you then show him that some Imam may be of a darker complexion, because we know Imam al-Sadiq married from North Africa, and Imam al-Kadhim, Imam al-Jawad's mother is from Sudan, so there's definitely a chance that they moved on to being of darker complexion. No, don't give me that story. Show me them as we see them when we go Karbala, Najaf. I want to see someone who looks beautiful, who suits my imagination. Yes? In other words, what am I saying? I'm saying that this issue of the birth of the 12th Imam, without a doubt, is one of the most complicated issues that you find even within Shia theology as well as history. Yes? It's a combination of the two. But some turn around and said, what is this notion? A mom gives birth concealed because there's a matter of life or death. Why doesn't she just give birth in normal circumstances? And what happened to him after he was born? And who were the witnesses to his birth? How many of them in total? Let's try and examine this tonight in order that I'm able to clarify this issue in as much depth as possible. I'd like to do this in the following stages. Number one, which prophet of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had his mother's birth to him concealed by Allah because of the dictator of the time? Number two, which other prophet also faced the same, where his mother's birth to him was concealed? His mother's pregnancy was concealed. Number three, the report that the Imam's mother Narjis married Imam al-Askari through a dream. Can we reconcile it with historical evidence? Or are we able to look at the chain and say it's reliable? Or do we agree with Sheikh al-Mufid in the Irshad that his mother was from Sudan? Number four, when he is born, which are the companions who are told about his birth? And why are they told not to mention his name or his whereabouts? Number five, why does Imam al-Askari want him out of Samarra as soon as possible? And what was the danger that he was facing? And number six, how does he return back in order that he makes clear the imamate is for him? And how does Mas'udi confirm this narration that he is around at the time, as well as Khadija, the auntie of the Imam? Let me examine this in order that we're able to understand the circumstances surrounding the birth. Someone says, how does she not know she's pregnant? Yes? Surely the signs of pregnancy would have been clear for everyone to see. Anyone who's read the Quran and read the world of tafsir will know that what happened to the mother of the Imam is not unusual at all. Yes? Because there were prophets of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala who were born from similar pregnancies. The first of them was Nabi Ibrahim alayhi salam. Yes? Nabi Ibrahim, Nimrod was told by the soothsayers. You know, many of these powerful personalities, they love being around clairvoyants and palm readers and soothsayers. Yes? You know, when you have nothing else to do in this world and you've got all the power, so you tell someone, listen, read my palm, here's some money, or, you know, tell me in the future what's going to happen. I remember when you read the biography of Hussein Kamil, Saddam's son-in-law, he went to a clairvoyant or a soothsayer to tell him, should I go back to Iraq after he fled to Jordan? And that soothsayer said to him, yes, go back to Iraq, you'll be okay. He was chopped up into pieces within a few hours. So, Nimrod, what happened with Nimrod? Nimrod had that same soothsayer. What did the soothsayer say? That soothsayer said to Nimrod very clearly. He said to him that there will be a young boy born in your nation who's going to take over your kingdom. Yes? That Nimrod, as soon as he heard there's a young boy who's going to take over the kingdom, he began a policy which all dictators begin. What is it? That they would come and execute the sons and sometimes leave the woman alone, or they'd massacre the pregnant woman as well. See, the sign of the scum on the earth is a man who's willing to kill a pregnant lady. Yes? If ever you want to see scum on this earth, dirt, filth, the satanic qualities of a human being, it's someone, when they see a pregnant lady, they're willing to attack her. Yes? Because normally, even if you have a problem with someone, you don't attack the pregnant woman. Yes? You would hold yourself back saying, listen, that lady, she's pregnant, the child is innocent, let me leave it. Only a devil would attack a pregnant lady. Yes? Only filth on this earth would attack. And that's what Nimrod was. Nimrod decided that if there's going to be a boy born, then we're going to have to see all the women. And we have to see, are they pregnant or are they not? In other words, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the first time He concealed the pregnancy of any lady was whom? Was the mother of Nabi Ibrahim alayhi salam. Yes? Nabi Ibrahim's father died while his mom was pregnant. Others say a couple of years later. That pregnancy, had it not been concealed, Nimrod's soldiers would have gone in and massacred the lady. Yes? They would have gone in, they would have cut her open, and they would have made sure that the baby was killed. Because when a dictator has it in his head that something's going to happen in the future, when there are soothsayers saying it, there is no doubt that that dictator will take out their venom. Imagine when a ma'soom says it, yes? When a soothsayer says it, someone who's reading the ball or the palms or everything, if that person listened to him, they'd go to Ibrahim's house. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wanted Ibrahim's birth to be concealed. No Muslim in the world denies Nabi Ibrahim's mother's pregnancy being concealed, yes? Go to the Sunni Tafasir, Shia Tafasir, Sufi Tafasir, go to all the Tafasir, all of them make it clear that Nabi Ibrahim's mother, her pregnancy was concealed, yes? Because those who want to talk about hagiography later on, they need to look at Quranic hagiography. Yes? You can't be an Islamic academic and say all of this was hagiography. But when the Quran shows you that someone was born and their pregnancy was concealed, you say, no, but that's the word of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Yes? Here the Quran is saying, Nabi Ibrahim, and through the tafsir, that Nabi Ibrahim alayhi salam was born. His mother didn't have like a public pregnancy, hospital, midwife, 1 million people saw it. No. His mother's pregnancy was concealed so that Nimrod would not be able to kill. That's on the first level. The second one, whose pregnancy was even more dangerous and more concealed, Nabi Musa's mother. Yes? I don't think there's anyone in the Muslim world who denies that Nabi Musa's mother was living at the worst of the times possible. Yes? What time was she living in? Pharaoh once again. Soothsayers. You sit with them, they told him, there's going to be a boy who's going to be born, who's going to overthrow your kingdom. Pharaoh said, that's impossible. Ana rabbukum al-a'la. I'm your Lord. Who's going to overthrow my kingdom? Yes? that Pharaoh would go to any limits to make sure his kingdom didn't fall. I remember he asked Haman to build for him a spiral staircase. That spiral staircase, you know, these days when you build a building, spiral staircase, you have scaffolding, you have safety equipment. Yes, as in Bar in Dubai, most places people don't die. Yes. And then in those days, there's no scaffolding. So what used to happen was people would fall, people would die, and so on. He told Haman, build for me that spiral staircase. Why? I want to kill the god, yes, who may send someone like a young boy to overthrow me. So what would they do? They'd go to the top and they'd shoot an arrow and blood would come down and he would say, look, I've killed God. It was a pigeon, was flying across and the blood fell down. But that's how egomaniacs begin. Yes, they become psychopathic. They go crazy. Do you know what he started doing? Every house, search. Son is there, kill the boy. Woman is pregnant, kill the woman. Yes? يعني يذبح أبناءهم when the Quran mentions in Surah Al-Qasas. Yes? يستحي نساءهم. Some of their ladies were let free. Someone asked the question once, how comes Harun was born if Pharaoh was killing everybody? Because the year Harun was born, Haman came to Pharaoh. He said to him, Master, he said, yes. He said, we got a problem. He said, what is it? He said, you know you're killing all the pregnant ladies and you're killing all the newborn babies? He said, yes. He said, we're not going to have any slaves to serve us drinks. These boys, if they're not born, who's going to serve us drinks on a hot day? Look at the arrogance of the human being, yes? So that year, he said, Pharaoh said, that year, anyone who's born, no problem. I will let them go. The year of Musa was the year of killing the boys. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala concealed the pregnancy of who? Of Musa's mother, yes? Nabi Musa's mother, she could have easily had a public pregnancy. Everyone could see her, everyone would know she's pregnant. They would have ripped open her stomach, her womb. I'm telling you, they would have ripped open that whole area. As in, do not be surprised. I remember the Khawarij, when they ripped open Khabbab ibn al-Arat's son, they ripped open his wife's womb, they threw the baby, just because he loved Ali ibn Abi Talib, yes? A human being will reach that stage. Do not worry. They will reach a stage. Look at this ISIS and all their filth. You think these people will not do such things? If they find out that you are a lover of Ahl al-Bayt alayhi salam, they'll shoot you and they'll kill the family. So the Quran mentioned, what did they do? They would go around the houses and they'd kill. Nabi Musa's mother, Allah concealed her pregnancy. Yes? So that those signs of pregnancy would not lead to the death of Nabi Musa alayhi salam. Of course, it didn't mean that they didn't stop searching. You see, even if Musa's born, she still had a problem. You see, it's one thing not showing that you're pregnant. But what happens when you give birth? Soldiers don't stop looking, do they? So what did the Quran say to her? وَأَوْحَيْنَا إِلَىٰ أُمِّ مُوسَىٰ أَنْ أَرْضَعِيهِ. We revealed. What's the word for reveal here? وَأَوْحَيْنَا. Someone says, but you can't send wahi to a normal lady. Yes? Allah says, no. If I want to inspire Musa's mother, I'll talk to Musa's mother. Yes? Tell me if Musa's mother can be spoken to by Allah. The Imams of Al Muhammad cannot be spoken to. As in when the Quran says, وَأَوْحَيْنَا إِلَىٰ أُمِّ مُوسَىٰ. We sent what? Inspiration to the mother of Musa. Bear with me on this point. Why? Because sometimes our brothers from other schools in Islam say, you raise your imams too much. Listen, Habibi, Allah talked to Nabi Musa's mom. He told her, make sure that you suckle your child. She's not even ma'soom. How about the wasi of Rasulullah? You think Allah can't talk to him? You think Allah can't inspire him? Why do I give you these ayahs? I want you to use them in your discussions. Not write an email to me every 25 minutes, yes? I want you to be walking ulama on the earth. You being equipped with the Quran. Quran said, وَأَوْحَيْنَا إِلَىٰ أُمِّ مُوسَىٰ أَنْ أَرْضَعِيهِ. We revealed to the mother of Musa, suckle him. وَإِذَا خِفْتِ عَلَيْهِ what? فَإِذَا خِفْتِ عَلَيْهِ فَأَلْقِيهِ فِي الْيَمِّ. Yes? وَلَا تَخَافِ وَلَا تَحْزَنِي. If you're scared for Musa, then the best thing to do isn't keep him at home. Get rid of him. Put him in a basket, let him roll down the Nile. فَإِذَا خِفْتِ عَلَيْهِ فَأَلْقِيهِ فِي الْيَمِّ وَلَا تَخَافِي وَلَا تَحْزَنِي إِنَّا رَادُّوهُ إِلَيْكِ وَجَاعِلُوهُ مِنَ الْمُرْسَلِينَ. Put him in the Nile, in the basket. We'll bring him back to you. Yes? Trust us. We'll bring him back. we're the ones who concealed your pregnancy. You think we can't look after your son? Yes? Nabi Musa alayhi salam, the fact wasn't just the concealing of the pregnancy. It was, even if you conceal a pregnancy, when the mother gives birth, how are you going to escape those soldiers outside the house? Yes? Those soldiers are keeping an eye out. Yes? Everyone's keeping an eye out. So she had to make sure she got rid of the child straight away. The child ended up with who? Asiya, wife of Pharaoh. Yes? And you all know the story from there. Asiya raised him until, subhanallah, he became the nemesis for Pharaoh later on. Therefore, Nabi Ibrahim's mother, pregnancy concealed. Nabi Musa's mother, pregnancy concealed. Did the same happen with the 12th Imam? Yes, no doubt. It had to happen. Why? The circumstances are similar. Dictators who know that a boy will be born and that boy will eventually bring justice to the earth, rising with the sword against all forms of injustice. Yes? Because as we said in the previous 11 lectures, we made it clear that at that time, when the 12th Imam was born, Bukhari's Sahih had been written, Muslim's Sahih had been written, Musnad Ahmad bin Hanbal had been written. These were all in the times of Imam al-Rada, Imam al-Jawad, Imam al-Hadi. In all three of these books it says there will be 12 rulers after me, 12 emirs after me, 12 qayyims after me, 12 khulafa after me. So imagine you went to get the book out of the library at that time. You are Khalifa of Bani Abbas. You don't need a soothsayer, do you? You see in the book clearly, in front of you it says, Rasulullah said there'll be 12. You don't need to be a genius to think, hold on a minute. There'll be 12. Ali, Hassan, Hussein, Sajjad, Baqir, Sadiq, Kadhim, Rida, Jawad, Hadi, Askari. You don't need to be a genius to know that these hadiths, what they were indicating, yes? Let alone Fadl bin Shadan and Ali bin Mahziyar talking about the Qa'im at that time. Let alone others who were discussing the presence of the Qa'im. Bani Abbas had known. You see, Bani Abbas, where's their capital? Samarra. Do you agree? Which Imam wants to live in Samarra? Does an Imam want to live in Samarra? Samarra is where? North Iraq, yes? Mosul, Tikrit, Samarra. MashaAllah. MashaAllah. Yes? Mosul, Tikrit, Samarra. Imams love Medina. They love Kufa. They love, for example, let's say Mecca. Yes, that's where the Imam's heart is. Otherwise, nobody wants to go to Samarra. Why did the Abbasids move their capital from Baghdad to Samarra? Because they knew the Turks would be a trouble for them. Yes? But then why did you take Hadi and Askari to Samarra with you? If there's no belief in the 12th Imam, why are you making Imam al-Hadi, Imam Askari leave and come with you? Imam al-Hadi, Imam Askari, do they have weapons and an army? No. Unless you believed from their line a boy would be born. Yes? From their line there would be a Mahdi. Imam al-Askari therefore, when he was in Samarra, for 6 years, he had been under house arrest. Imam al-Askari, how old was he when he died? How old, Imam al-Askari? 28. This is the tragedy of this dunya. Yes. The tragedy of this dunya. I can live until 33. And the grandson of Rasulullah dies at that age. Yes. 6 years, they were putting pressure on the Imam al-Askari. In that 6-year period, the Imam had wanted to get married at a young age. So who did he get married to? Yes. Because who was Imam living with? He was living with his auntie, Hakima. His other auntie, Khadija. Imam al-Hadi, alayhi salam. Yes. He was living with them. And they also had, their grandma was still living in Medina. Where? Medina. Yes. She was living in Medina. And so what happened? What happened was Imam al-Askari wanted to get married. Who did he get married to? Now, the classical story that you hear in many majalis, I've narrated, others have narrated, And it's there. Shaykh al-Tusi sees it as reliable. Ibn Rustam al-Tabari sees it as reliable. The classic story is what? Is that Imam al-Askari married the descendant of Simon from the disciples of Nabi Isa alayhi salam. Yes? A lady by the name of Malika. Yes? And then later on, her name is Narjis. They say that this lady, Bishr, was told by Imam al-Hadi, go by the banks of the river, you will see slave girls being sold. Yes? So when you see this one slave girl, she is covered, everyone's going to try and buy her. She will not accept until when you give her your offer, she will come with you. She will know that this letter is the same letter which has been written, and she will come. When she came, they asked her the story. What does she say? She said that my parents are the descendants of Simon. My father is the Caesar. Yes? He wanted me to get married at the age of 14. Every time I wanted to get married in the church, on the wedding day, something would go wrong, until my family thought I was a curse for them. In my dream, I saw who? I saw Rasulullah asking Nabi Isa for his daughter's hand in marriage for his son. Yes? Then after that, I saw Fatima al-Zahra, salawatullah wa salamu alayha, asking whom? Then I saw Fatima al-Zahra alayhi salam asking Sayyidah Maryam that your daughter has to become Muslim. When she becomes Muslim, only then can we accept her for our son. She became Muslim. She was told you're going to get on a ship. That ship will take you towards Baghdad area, and then you're going to be taken on. Eventually, she sees Imam al-Askari in her dreams, and they come towards that area and they get married. Yes? This is the story that we all hear every 15th of Sha'ban. Do you agree? Now, what's the issues with this story? Firstly, if we were to say they got married around the 242nd year after Hijrah, I cannot find in my research a war taking place at that time. Yes? As in, if I look in the books of history, I can't find a war between the Romans and the Abbasids. Yes? Sometimes a person can refer to non-Muslim literature to verify something historically. Yes? You want to look at Rasulullah, whether he exists, whether the Khulafa existed, whether any of our sacred history existed, you would go towards the non-Muslim literature and you'd look inside the literature and you'd find it. Robert Hoyland has a fantastic book available on the internet, Seeing Islam as Others Saw It. Excellent book, yes? Seeing Islam as others saw it. So what were the non-Muslims seeing happening to Islam? The wars, the Prophet, the Imams, and so on. However, this incident, now someone may bring me a new piece of research. I met a couple of people who have promised that they found some sort of corresponding battle that may have taken place. Because we say that Bibi Narjis, there was a battle between the Romans and the Abbasids, and she was a slave on the ship, and then she was taken to Imam al-Askari. Yes, this is a story we've all heard. But you look at that period, 242 after Hijrah, there is nothing there of a battle that took place. That's number one. Number two, Shaybani, Saduq takes from Shaybani. On the one hand, you have scholars like Kashi who may see him as an extremist narrator. And another thing which is surprising is Shaybani, if you look at his peers and his contemporaries, the man who narrates this story, yes? When you look at his contemporaries, people such as Mas'udi, or people such as Kulayni, or people such as Qummi, or Nawbakhti, for example, I don't see them narrate this story, yes? As in Shaykh al-Kulayni, who only lived a few years after this story. Shaykh al-Kulayni, yes? Lived a few years after the story, does not narrate the story. Yes? Nor have I seen it in the works of Qummi, nor did I see it in Mas'udi. Yes? So I don't know this story. Yes, Saduq. You find Tusi, for example, within the Ghaiba, or you find Ibn Rustam al-Tabari mention that this story is reliable. Number three, then what does Kulayni say? Imam al-Askari, who did he marry? Shaykh al-Kulayni is clear. He says Imam al-Askari married a lady from the northern province of Sudan. Someone says, but I thought she's Roman. I thought it was an excuse for everyone to marry an Italian, yes? When people heard that the Imam's mom was Rome, everyone said, that's it, I'm marrying Italian. La habibi, firstly, Rome is not the Rome of today. Yes, Rome is a different area. If you're lucky, it's maybe in the Turkish region, Anatolia and that area. Yes, that type, and expanded towards Africa. Secondly, Kulaini says that she was whom? That this lady was from Sudan. Now, that clearly indicates that this lady means if she is from Sudan, there's a good chance that the Imam will be of a darker complexion. Yes? Now, when Imam al-Jawad was a bit of a darker complexion, some of the Shia were not happy. I don't know what the Shia would do. Insha'Allah, such things have left our heart by that time. Yes? Because some of our community's racism leaves a lot to be desired. Good chance. Very good chance. As in Shaykh al-Kulaini believes in that. And Shaykh al-Mufid within the Irshad, what does he say? Doesn't mention nothing about this story of Roman princess. Yes, there are others who have. Shaykh al-Mufid says, this was a lady who was a servant of Hakima, the auntie of Imam al-Askari. Yes? She was a servant of Hakima, and she lived in their house, and that it was made clear to her that she would be the wife of the Imam, and it's not unusual. Imam al-Sadiq, Imam al-Kadhim, Imam al-Rida, Imam al-Jawad, Imam al-Hadi, Imam, all of them married their slave girls. Yes, they married slave girls from Africa, mainly from Africa. None of them married a Sayyida at all. They married slave girls from where? From Africa. So therefore, on the first level, let's make clear that that story of the Roman princess, yes, some may believe in it. Others say no, that she is from that origin. That's number one. Number two, why does the mother of the Imam have so many names? Some called her, I read a hadith where she's called Maryam. I read another hadith she's called Sawsan. I read another hadith she's called Rayhana. Yes. I read another hadith where she's called Saqil. I read another hadith where she's called Narjis. As for Saqil, I rejected straight away. There was a Saqil which the Abbasid Khulafa spent 2 years spying on to see if she became pregnant or no. Yes. As for the other names, well, some of these names are not names, they're titles. Some of them are names of flowers. Let's say Rayhana, for example. Others, you may have one lady, she may have 3 different titles, yes? In those days, one way of being soft with your woman would be to give them different names, yes? And that could be the reason. In other words, A, you may have a number of servants in the house of the Imams. B, it may be one lady with different titles. There are ways in which you can reconcile these things. And that's why they had got married. The question arose, did she give birth to the Imam or no? Yes, she did. Did she know? Like Musa and Ibrahim alayhi salam, Allah concealed. Yes? You found that on the night of the 15th of Sha'ban, there is no doubt about the night of the 15th of Sha'ban. Let me make that clear. Yes? Mas'udi even narrates very clearly, there's a number of traditions that narrate that Imam was born the year 256 after Hijrah, and on the 15th of Sha'ban, I remember a narration which was very clear, where they had Imam al-Askari had said that the Abbasid Khalifa of the time, mentioned al-Muhtadi, some mentioned al-Mu'tamid, he had made it clear about the Muhtadi that what? He tried to kill off our offspring, but Allah showed him who is powerful. Now he died Rajab 256. Imam al-Askari said he tried to kill our offspring, but Allah showed him who's powerful. Yes? Which means what? That if he died in Rajab of the 256, it means that already he is born. The Imam was already born by that time. Some say therefore that it's 255, 256. There is a differing of opinions as to the exact year, 255, 256. But the main point was, night of the 15th of Sha'ban, she doesn't know. Imam al-Askari tells his auntie, he says, my auntie Hakima, he says to her, tonight the Hujjah of Allah will be born. Yes. She says, where? Said, it will be born tonight, you will see. But there's no signs of pregnancy. Said, you will see tonight the nur of Allah on earth. Yes. On that night, they were waiting for Narjis. Yes. And that birth was conclusive. I remember Khadija even. Khadija, auntie of Imam al-Askari, herself mentions to Ahmad bin Ibrahim, she makes it clear to him, when he was asking about the Imam, she had made it clear that the Imam was born at that time and that he went into Ghaibah at the age of 4 years, 7 months. Yes? Around that time. You found that Narjis, when she was told, Narjis walked into the house. Hakima said to her, Narjis said to Hakima, she said, Salamu alaykum, O exalted one of Ahl al-Bayt, yes? To which Hakima replied, no, you are the exalted one. She said to her, why? She said, because it is from you tonight that the birth will come of the Hujjah of Allah on earth. They waited that night. Hakima even herself said, I was still looking. I still couldn't see any signs. Until she said, I fell asleep. When I woke up, I heard Imam al-Askari talking to his newborn son. Yes? When he was talking to his newborn son, he recited the ayah of the Quran, وَنُرِيدُ أَن نَمُنَّ عَلَى الَّذِينَ اسْتُضْعِفُوا فِي الْأَرْضِ وَنَجْعَلَهُمْ أَئِمَّةً وَنَجْعَلَهُمُ الْوَارِثِينَ. That we want to bestow a favor on those who were deemed weak on this earth. Yes? You thought us, Al-Muhammad, were weak. Allah is the greatest planner. Yes? We made them imams. نَجْعَلَهُمْ أَئِمَّةً وَنَجْعَلَهُمُ الْوَارِثِينَ. We made them imams. We made them have inheritance of one another. And he recited Surah 40, Surah Hamim. Then he recited Surah 36, Surah Yasin. And the Imam was born. Who was told? A few companions were told. Who were they? Ahmad bin Ishaq was told, very close to the Imams. Abu Hashim al-Ja'fari was told. Hakima, the aunt of the Imam, was told. Khadija was told. Someone says, why didn't they make a public announcement? Habibi, you have 1,000 million assassins outside the house. What do you want to do? Tell everyone come home for coffee? Yes, what are you doing? So this person born is going to be the savior for mankind. What do you think? Nabi Musa, when he was born, they told Pharaoh, you want to come for lunch tomorrow, Pharaoh? We have a newborn if you want to talk to him and play with him. Who's going to do that? Ahmad bin Ishaq, Abu Hashim al-Ja'fari, Hakima, Khadija, the close companions. Straight away, after Narjis had seen the Imam al-Askari made sure that the Imam was to leave Samarra. Hold on. We said Ghaibah was when he's 5, yes? So leave Samarra to where? Where's he meant to go? He sent him to live with his grandmother in Medina. Because this question used to confuse me a lot. If Imam went into Ghaibah at the age of 5, please everyone bear with me on this discussion, because this is a key point. It's a make or break point. It's a belief-disbelief point. If Imam went into Ghaibah at 5, where is he for the first 5 years? Don't kid me and tell me that he's in Samarra. It can't be, because they would have killed him. They would have killed him. What you have, a child walk around for 5 years, no one's going to know that's a child? He's not in Ghaibah. He sent him to Medina to live with his grandma. Send him over there and he would tell the Shia, you want to meet him? He's in Medina. Then later on to where? They had a companion, Ahmad, son of Muhammad ibn al-Mutahhar, who was in Mecca. They let the Imam go there. So the Imam went to live with his grandma. And he lived with Ahmad in Mecca until he returned when Imam al-Askari died. Why? Because only an Imam can lead the funeral prayers of another Imam. Yes? When an Imam passes away, that Imam has to come back. When Imam al-Askari died, Imam al-Askari informed 40 of his Shia. Kulayni mentions in Al-Kafi, 40 of the close Shia. The time about to pass away, my son, he introduced 40 of the Shia to his son. Yes? Because sometimes people say, nobody knew about his son. Mas'udi, you know Mas'udi, the famous historian, confirms that Al-Mahdi was born, and Mas'udi died when? Mas'udi died in 345 after Hijrah. Yes? So Mas'udi is a contemporary of that particular era, doesn't reject, because you know most were saying Imam al-Askari had left no son. No, Mas'udi says there was a son left. And the reliable trustees of Al-Muhammad, Abu Ishaq, Ahmad bin Ishaq, Abu Hashim al-Ja'fari, others had mentioned, yes, that they had met the Imam, 40 of them had met the Imam. When Imam al-Askari died, there were claimants for the imamah. Ja'far, his brother, said, I am the one after. He even went to the Abbasid Khulafa and said to them that the Shia believe that their imam is born. So go and survey the house, keep an eye out. Do you know what the Abbasids were doing? You know why Imam al-Askari sent Imam Zaman to Medina? You know why he made him go? The reason was the Abbasids, their wives, their slave girls, the chief judge of the area, Ibn Abil Shawarib, yes? Even he used to spy on the house. They even detained one of the girls in the house by the name of Saqil. They detained her for 2 years to see if she becomes pregnant. Animals. What is it? Animals. Nothing more. Staring and spying. And the Quran says, وَلَا تَجَسَّسُوا. Do not spy. Yes? They were staring, spying, just to try and find about the Imam. Ja'far claimed that he was the Imam. But when people came to visit the Imam, they asked Ja'far questions he couldn't answer. And an Imam of Al Muhammad always answers the questions. Yes? And then when Ja'far wanted to be the one who led the funeral prayers, yes, at that moment what took place? At that moment the Imam came and said, step aside, for this is for the son of Al Muhammad. Yes, this is Al-Hujjah ibn al-Hasan. He is the one who was to lead the funeral prayers. And then from there was the beginning of the ghaibah. Yes, the beginning of the ghaibah took place at that time. In other words, was it as clear cut as people make it out? Not at all. At that moment, it was a difficult situation. Life and death was at stake. The mother had to let go of her beloved son. And never is it easy for a mother to let go of her son. Yes, impossible. As in that mother, Narjis, you imagine she gave birth. And then the Imam has to say, I'm sorry, but the boy has to leave. If the boy stays around here, they're going to kill him. They're going to kill us. So the boy has to leave, and the boy was told and was sent to live in Medina with his grandmother in Medina. And for that mother, did she live to see her son? No, she passed away, the poor lady. But for that lady, it was difficult for her to let go of her son. Yes, it was difficult for any mother to let go of her son, because that son is the heart of the mother walking on the earth. Yes, for a mother to see her son leave her, it's difficult. For a mother to see her son not feeling well, it's difficult. Yes, ask any mother in this world. You see your son crying, how difficult is it for you? If a mother is in pain, it's difficult to see when her son is in pain. Imagine a mother sees her son's pieces. Yes, the pieces of her son's body cut all over the ground. What did Qasim's mother go through? Yes, what did Qasim's mother go through on the 10th of Muharram? Yes, Imam al-Askari's son, Imam Hassan al-Askari's son was Al-Hujjah. Imam al-Hassan's son was Qasim. Imam al-Hassan gave 7 sons on the 10th of Muharram. How many? 7. 7 sons. Yes. And the mothers, Ishaq bin Talha, Ramla, Farwa, all of them had to see their sons. Yes. One of them, of his sons, Abdullah ibn al-Hasan. This boy's story breaks the heart. Imam al-Hussein was lying on the ground, arrows all over his body. Yes. And they had absolutely butchered his body, but he was still alive. Umar bin Sa'ad turned around to Harmala bin Kahil. He said, Harmala, do you see the whiteness of the chest of Hussein? He said, yes. He said, get an arrow with poison and shoot the chest of Hussein. At this moment, a young boy came running out of the tent. And his auntie Zainab said, come back, where are you heading? He said to her auntie, how can I come back when Abu Abdullah lies alone on the ground? Auntie, how can I return when the son of Zahra lies on the ground with no one to protect him? He sat by the body of Imam al-Hussein. He turned around, he said, oh my uncle Abu Abdullah, I'll protect you with my life and look after you. At that moment, Harmala bin Kahil shot an arrow. It went straight through the chest of the son of Imam al-Hasan alayhi salam. When he was dying, he turned said to Imam al-Hussein, he said to him, Uncle Abu Abdullah, are you proud of the way I defended you? Yes, Abu Abdullah, I'm here for you. I want to look after you. He passed away next to Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam. But at least when he passed away, his body was in one piece. When Qasim passed away, Abu Abdullah carried each piece. One side the hand, on the other side the hand. One side a piece of the chest, and another side a piece of the leg. Sukaina said to him, Father, where is my cousin Qasim? He said to her, Sukaina, do not blame me. I tried to gather the body of your cousin Qasim. When he returned back to the tent, he placed the body of Qasim next to the body of Akbar. But the mothers didn't cry because they never wanted it to break the heart of Abu Abdullah. So at that moment Zainab said, Abu Abdullah, I beg you, walk away from the tent. He said to her, why? She said, because the mothers want to cry for their boys, but Layla and Ramla don't want to cry in front of you. When he left the tent, both of them fell on the bodies of their sons. One of them calling out, Wa Akbara, the other calling out, Wa Qasima, and the third calling out, Wa Husayna, Wa Husayna. I ask you, when the boys lost their lives, their mothers were crying for them. Who was crying for Abu Abdullah when he lay on the ground alone on the plains of Karbala? إنا لله وإنا إليه راجعون وسيعلم الذين ظلموا أي منقلب ينقلبون واللعنة الدائمة على القوم الظالمين. Ya Allah, raise us with Imam Sahib al-Asr wal-Zaman. Ya Allah, for our beloved ones who are going through operations at the moment, we recite Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. أَمَّنْ يُجِيبُ الْمُضْطَرَّ إِذَا دَعَاهُ وَيَكْشِفُ السُّوءَ 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 أَمَّنْ يُجِيبُ الْمُضْطَرَّ إِذَا دَعَاهُ وَيَكْشِفُ السُّوءَ. Ya Allah, in the name of Imam Sahib al-Asr wal-Zaman, remove all the oppression that we face in the Muslim world. Ya Allah, our brothers in Kuwait and our brothers in the Qatif, remove all the oppression that they face in these moments. Ya Allah, our brothers in Iraq, protect all of our brothers on the front lines in Iraq who fight at the moment while fasting to protect the madhab of Ahlul Bayt. Ya Allah, our brothers all around who face genocide, such as our brothers in Pakistan and our brothers around the Islamic world, Ya Allah, protect them. We pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala the Surah Al-Fatiha, but before it, the loudest of your salawat.